There you go.
Welcome to Rules Enactments Intergovernmental Relations Committee Budget Meeting. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Legislator Elner?
Here.
Legislator Nascarino?
Present.
Chairwoman Edmondson?
Present. Okay, moving on to the budget. I am going to call Carl Rohde from the Veterans Agency, and that is page 186 to 187. Good evening, how are you? Hello, thank you for waiting. It's a long evening. Okay, so we're on page 186. And I do have one question for Loyalty Day.
Okay. Well, Loyalty Day, essentially, we don't have Loyalty Day anymore. I've been suggesting taking out the budget for a few years now.
Okay.
Just to give you a history, the Putnam County Council, VFW, ran Loyalty Day for years. County councils in the state of New York were eliminated. So we have no organization that wanted to come forward and run Loyalty Day, sadly. We offered it around to different organizations. Nobody came across to do it. I don't have the staff to run Loyalty Day.
Okay.
So we've been suggesting, so we're taking that out. We left $1,000 in there. What I'm hoping that line eventually goes to one of the other obligations that we have now out of our office is the coordination of the Row of Honor. And we're probably going to need money eventually to fund the Row of Honor. The selling of the flags doesn't fund it enough. We're coming up with a new program for that, which we will announce sometime after there's going to be, the Row of Honor is going to go up in a few weeks, for 2 weeks, and then we're going to announce going forward what we're doing with the Row of Honor.
Okay, thank you. And radio communications, that was moved to IT? That's under Loyalty Day? 54540.
Well, that essentially was the radio communications from the vehicles, and we no longer have any vehicles.
Okay.
So both vehicles, our one vehicle, well, I never had vehicles, but that's okay. I had vehicles. Let's not get into that.
You don't want a Jeep?
One died, one completely died, and the other, so yeah, we need a vehicle.
Oh, okay.
That's coming down the pipe, not.
Okay. Okay. Legislator Nascarino?
Well, on temp line, you had requested 30,000, granted 15,000. Is that adequate?
Not really. We're, I'll let Tanya, the new deputy director, talk about that.
So the reason for the $30,000 request is that we have a veteran museum. There's two pieces. You have the Row of Honor. Those are our extra pieces that we do. The Row of Honor, the Veterans Museum, and then obviously you have us as veteran service officers. And this was to allocate additional funding. We already had originally $15,000 for a temporary person, but we were asking for $15,000 more going forward with these massive projects that we have. When it's just the two of us plus our executive assistant that actually works there, can't manage all the projects. So we were just looking for the additional money to bring somebody on to assist with managing these projects.
Yeah.
And
that's needed.
just so you know, for some reason, and this is just before Art got ready to leave, the number of veterans suddenly that are coming in has been absolutely overwhelming. I mean, we barely have a day that we don't have 3 or 4 veterans in the office. We actually have to schedule now time up where we do other administrative things. We're not just service officers. We have the administrative part as well, so it's really increasing. And a lot of very, very complicated, since the
passing the PACT Act.
PACT Act, the complications of this number of veterans that are now eligible for putting in claims is gone up exponentially.
What-
It's
What is it called? I'm
PACT
sorry.
Act. The PACT Act includes, it was passed in 2022, and what it really does is includes about the burn pits, Agent Orange, effective
Oh,
exposure
yes.
to Agent Orange, herbicide, et cetera, and what they have presumptives underneath one of those. There's 23 presumptives underneath the exposure to herbicide, and the other one is technically burn pits. Those are all those Afghan, Iraq, Jordan, Sudan, it's all those locations that were exposed to toxic exposure to burn pits. Creates presumptive conditions. People are beginning to realize it now, and now they're flooding the office with all of their, they may have originally filed a claim, they may have been denied, and now they're coming back because of that PACT Act. It entitles them to compensation and disability for those items.
Like one of the things for underage and orange is hypertension. Hypertension for years was denied. Now hypertension is something that yet no veterans can apply for. So we have guys that applied 10, 15, 20 years ago, and now they're coming back to applying again.
Okay, yes.
I'd like to circle back to the temp line, and I would like to support increasing it by the 15,000. I think you have a lot of ambitious endeavors coming down the pike here, and I think that extra help is certainly warranted.
I agree. Make a motion? Did you make a motion?
I would like to.
Okay.
So, yes, I would like to make a motion to increase the temp line by $15,000.
Second.
Second.
Oh. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Is there anything else that you wanted to discuss? Page 186.
Books and supplements have increased to $550. Originally, oh no, it was the same last year, I'm sorry.
same as last year.
I'm sorry, yes.
I didn't do it line.
No, it was books and supplements.
No,
It's the same
okay,
as last year.
okay, never mind. I have no more questions. on this.
Anyone else have, do you have a question first? No. Legislator Montgomery.
Speaking of projects, there was a lot of talk last night about Rev 250, which is happening, will be happening throughout the county. It's projects happening throughout the county called Rev 250. There's different names for it. And so I'm just curious, nobody's obviously approached you
You
yet.
haven't- First time, first time.
It should be something that the veterans are definitely involved if we're celebrating, the birth of the country. So I'm sure
Okay.
I'll ask that, the Putnam History Museum in Boscobel and all the agencies who are working on it to include our Putnam County veterans somehow in the project.
Great.
Anyone else have any questions? Legislators? Anyone from the public? Questions, comments?
Oh, thank you. I want to just mention one thing. Tomorrow is for the veterans residents, and I don't know who's on the committee for that. I am not going to be able to make it, and neither of us will be able to make it tomorrow, but there is
Okay.
no change in that budget. It's identical to what it was last year.
Okay.
I can speak on behalf of.
Yeah,
Okay.
we talked about it, so I
Mike,
just
okay.
want to let you know, I'm sorry, but I will not be.
Okay, that's fine.
So,
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for coming. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night. Okay, now I see there are several outside agencies that have been waiting all night. I feel very bad that you've been waiting so long. We have, yeah, you can bring them in. Second Chance Foods, Martha, I see, would you like to come up? Now, we're going to keep it very brief this evening, and I just want everyone to know that, as you know, that the county executive has kept all outside agencies at level funding. You are a new agency, so, and I just wanted to ensure that full consideration will be given to everyone's request, but no decisions will be made this evening. So, if you could just keep it really brief, because we have a lot of other people.
I understand. So I'm Martha Elder. I am a resident of Kent, and I am also the executive director and co-founder of Second Chance Foods. We are a nonprofit food rescue organization based in Brewster, New York. And I just very briefly tonight want to tell you a little bit about our programs and our impact in Putnam County. So we rescue thousands of pounds of food every week We bring it in our facility in Brewster. There, we sort through it. We decide what we're donating out to hunger relief in the form of groceries, what we're keeping in our facility to cook into meals, which are also donated to hunger relief. So we serve a number of food pantries throughout Putnam County, Phillipstown, Gilead, and Carmel, Patterson Food Pantry, and St. John's and Mayapack. We also help the soup kitchen at Putnam Cap. We have two programs where we're really working to break down barriers to food access. One of them is our community-supported nutrition boxes. This is a program that we started with Legislature at Inicio and Mount Carmel Baptist Church back in April of 2020. So these are boxes of groceries and meals, go every week.
And
So
we have
tomorrow,
80 box, 98, now we're up to 98.
So
Yes,
Adult Protective
4 years.
Services tomorrow will be coming to pick up 5 boxes to feed 8 people. These are the most vulnerable adults living in our community. Department of Social Services will be picking up 6 boxes that feed 19 people. These are homeless families living in motels, cooking with a microwave. And at Mount Carmel Baptist Church, we'll have 87 boxes going out to feed 300 people. And that church also, their volunteers provide a transportation option for the many people who do not have adequate transportation for food access. Our other program to break down barriers to food access is in cooperation with Cornell Cooperative. That's called Bountiful Meals. So we have 6 freezers throughout the county, meals prepared by Second Chance Foods. Grab a meal and go. There are 3 freezers in senior centers in Cold Spring, Putnam Valley, and Mayapack. There's a freezer at Cove Care. People going there who have Medicaid transportation, again, who have transportation issues, can now access a nourishing meal. And 2 libraries, Putnam Valley and Brewster. So in 2024, so far, through the end of September, in Putnam County alone, and we serve programs in 5 different counties, we've donated 63,000 meals and 168,000 pounds of groceries. So we're feeding an awful lot of Putnam County residents all throughout this county. I have a vision of zero hunger Putnam County. Second Chance Foods has that vision, and we believe that with diverse funding, the partnerships we have in this county, we can make that reality, a real reality. So the county executive put us in the budget for the first time at $10,000. That represents 1.5% of our budget for one of our programs in Putnam County. So I invite you to consider higher funding. We requested $30,000. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do in Putnam County. Does anyone have any comments? Or- No? Legislator Montgomery?
Could you just explain the process so everybody understands? We're just listening to these outside agencies now, but I'm sure they don't understand what will happen next. As
Right.
far as what
So
we do as a
the process, the legislature does decide. You were giving 10,000. It is our decision to give you more at one point. So we're not going to make any decisions this evening, but we will be doing it in the near future.
Can you tell them when that happens? And
Of course. Oh, no, but we'll let you know.
Oh.
We will let you know, of course. We have,
Well, we give consideration.
we're going to give consideration. We're not
Give
saying, definitely, I'm
consideration,
sorry.
Not necessarily.
We
automatically
can't,
increasing.
we're not going to say we're
Not
definitely
saying
increasing.
not, but I'm
We're not saying we're not.
Is that clear?
But this is the process, that people come and they, they will ask us, can you increase? Now, there's, other people have gotten nothing, and some people it's level funding. Legislator Yonke.
First of all, I think we all appreciate
Yes.
what you do, and you perform a vital function for the people who live in Putnam County. No matter what happens during this budget process, I think that because we are stressed for time today, and I also appreciate your patience in getting through all of this.
Long
I
night.
think that we should invite you, or you should request to come before a Rules Committee next year, so that we are better acquainted with I kind of know a little bit. You moved from my district into Joe's district, and I know where you're at right now. I still don't really know exactly how much you do, but I think that if you were to come again next year, no matter what happens during this process, and maybe invite some of us down, and I think the invitation's been out there.
Yes, you have.
I'm not saying
You have.
that you haven't, but I think that will help certainly moving forward.
Yeah, I definitely invite anybody to come to
Yes.
our operations.
Legislator Montgomery?
If I may just make it clear and for the other outside agencies so this is what I was getting at with the committee, but it wasn't explained. So on the 17th, we have a budget and finance meeting, and we can move anything out of sub-contingency. And also during the final adopt the budget meeting on the 29th, we can also move anything out of sub-contingency and move it into the regular budget. And if none of that happens, then we have next year and during the year. So just so you have.
Thank you for
17th and
thank you for coming.
29th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to call up the libraries, because I know you've also been waiting patiently.
Just if I may, to
Yes.
the rules, that usually you need to vote on changing the order of an agenda. Just to
No, I don't think I do for tonight, not for the budget process. Okay, so that's not an agenda. Hi, I'm going to, excuse me? Yeah, we're good. Can you all sit down? Is there a room? Or you want to sit? This is libraries. Thank you for waiting patiently. I know it's,
Thank you.
I'm Gina Lorenzo, I'm the director of the Brewster Public Library.
Yes.
And the president of the Putnam County Libraries Association. I have Stephanie Harrison from the Patterson Library, and Amina, pronounce your last name, Chaudhry, from the Putnam Valley Library.
Hello.
So as you know, we represent the 8 libraries across the county, and we just want to thank you for, your past great support of the libraries. The county funding that you provided for us has enabled us to, give so much to the community that we would otherwise be unable to do. And we serve everybody in the county from birth to senior citizens. So this year in our budget packet, we had requested 2% across all of our budget lines, with the exception of the one line that includes the e-resources. And the reason for that is that there's such a high demand for ebooks and downloadable audiobooks, and that need just continues to rise. Unfortunately, the purchasing model for those items makes it more expensive for libraries to buy them than if an individual was to purchase them. But if a library card holder comes in, they have access to the entire collection without spending a dime, so all those ebooks and audiobooks. So did you want to add something on that as well?
Well, ebooks and audiobooks, they're, like Gina said, they're growing, and we still have to buy print books. People still come in and they want print books, they want large print books. So, our costs grow, but our budget stays the same, basically. We have to do more with the same amount of money. So that was one of the reasons why, for the ebook and audiobook increase in particular. And as Gina said, if you were to buy an ebook or audiobook, it might cost you $10. It costs us anywhere from $75 to $100 a title, and we don't get to keep that forever. Usually it's a licensing, so you get it for 12 months or 24 months. So the costs are exponential for an individual, but they're free to anyone who wants to use them in Putnam County. And just separately, I was, just to talk about how we all share services, I was at Matt Slater's Senior Resource Fair today, and saw a lot of seniors, and luckily they are all library users, but they don't just use the Patterson Library, the Brewster Library, they really go to all of our libraries. And the young families we see do the same thing. They'll come to our programs, but then they also go to Brewster's programs or Reed's programs. So even though Patterson Libraries in Patterson, we really serve all of Putnam County, and the same for all 8 libraries. So, and then separately, you give us funds for the ebooks or for literacy, and we're able to take that money and buy stuff for all of us that we couldn't afford on our own. We just got a Comics Plus database, it's comic books. If I was to get it for Patterson, it was the same price for us to get it for all 8 libraries. So the county dollars really go a long way to providing services, again, from birth to, seniors and everyone in between.
yes. Well, I'm from Kent Library, so, and she's retiring, so Carol, love Carol Donick. I'm a strong supporter of the libraries, and you're invaluable to Putnam County. So I want to thank you for everything you do there. And I think a lot of people don't even realize how many programs you have. You know, some people have no idea, but thank you very much. Yes, Legislator?
Yeah, I would just like to echo Legislator Ananizio's sentiments. I mean, the libraries serve as such a fundamental and reliable source for all our communities that certainly go above and beyond books. They're from programs from babies to seniors and people helping with taxes, tax season, and so many different functions. It's a wonderful, wonderful resource. This budget procedure here tonight is something new. It's my 12th budget, and I've never seen money get put into contingency for the legislature to decide to divvy up. The objective for you meeting in August and September is for the county executive, in my opinion, to deem that at that time, and then come to us for further consideration one way or the other. So it's a little upside down, but will be meeting with you in the upcoming near future to consider your request, and I am a very staunch supporter of the libraries, and I appreciate all you do, and I will certainly support to increase your funding.
Thank you.
Yes, and I agree. Legislator Montgomery?
I will be voting to move the money out of contingency during the budget and finance meeting to fund the libraries.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Legislator Sage?
No, I love the libraries. One of the proud parts of my town is that the library is the largest building in the town next to the fire department. I read all the time, and I read ebooks, and I often wonder how that works, and I'm sure, because I have my Mayapack library card, and I get a book every 2 weeks. And so that, I mean, I don't do all of it because it's free to the library, so what you do is provide an awesome service that, you know, Amazon is really making a lot of money from it, you guys provide free, and I really appreciate that, and I would always support the libraries.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming this evening. We appreciate
Thank you
it.
for waiting.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we have CPAP.
I've seen Jenny.
We have Jenny here. Is there anyone else? No. No. Okay.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Good evening, Chairwoman Ananizio and legislators. My name is Jenny Fu. I'm a resident of Putnam Valley. It's my pleasure and privilege to represent CPAB here tonight. I'd like to take this opportunity to highlight the role that the Community Engagement and Police Advisory Board provides. So the mission of CPAB is to strengthen trust between community and law enforcement, ensuring that our county remains a safe, inclusive, and collaborative environment. Since our formation in 2021, we facilitated dialogue, provided feedback to law enforcement, and acted as a bridge between our community and Putnam County Sheriff's Department. We hold roundtables, virtual and in-person sessions. We meet with the Sheriff's Department, and we put on Culture Fest yearly. And we most recently started a youth group. So to continue to make meaningful strides, we need financial support from the county. The money that we're asking for would allow us to increase our community outreach. So in addition to Culture Fest, we want to increase the frequency of our roundtables. And we also want to hold smaller events throughout different towns in Putnam County, because I realize Putnam County is quite spread out. So most of our events have really taken place in Carmel and Brewster area, and we're not really getting the reach to the western part of the county. Something that has been on our list to try to accomplish is to really establish a scholarship. And we want to do that for high school students. So, with the funding, we will be able to take steps towards that. We're entirely self-funded, and so we also would appreciate assistance assistance with operational expenses, like website maintenance, printing supplies, and such. So, yeah, so thank you very much for your support and consideration. I know we've seen the legislators at our festival as well as the roundtables that we've had in the past.
Thank you.
Appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you for coming this evening. Any comments or, no? Okay. Any comments or questions from anyone? No? Okay. Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Jenny.
And we have Joyce Pacone, I see,
From,
Arts Council.
oh, Ron with that.
Should have said that. Putnam Arts Council. Hi, Joyce. How are you?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I always learn a lot at these meetings. So, you've received our application,
Mhm.
and we are appreciative of public support. We couldn't survive without it, as most of the, or all of the outside
Mhm.
agencies are. We do leverage state funds from receiving county
Mhm.
dollars, so that's something that maybe you aren't aware of. We do also, all the things that we do are exhibitions, are classes.
Mhm.
We have 85 students currently, and I have a staff of myself and two-day-a-week folks that manage all of this as well. So we're pretty busy, and we're happy to be a resource for the community, the arts community, the cultural community, but also the community at large. Art is for everyone. You don't have to be an art historian. You don't have to paint. You don't have to draw. It's around us everywhere,
Mhm.
and it basically is a necessity, not a recreational activity, in my opinion, not only for a well-rounded community, but it's a major freedom of expression, so it's one of our major freedoms that allows you to express yourself. For multi-generational, young people, old people, we too just created a scholarship so that seniors can pay less for classes, and kids can pay less if their parents can't afford classes as well, and seniors can pay less for our exhibitions. We never charge admission, so we're open to everyone all the time. Our classes remain pretty much the most affordable probably in the area. We can't compete with free, not that the libraries can do,
Right.
but we do as the best we can. And we have a bunch of partnerships, and I'll be brief. We are working with Cove Care to do a workshop, and we don't charge them to use our space. We are working with Guardian Revival, which is a veterans group that does music. We give them Monday nights. Our gallery is free to them, and they come and jam often on Monday nights, so they're musicians. We work with the youth department. We're giving them space to do their programs free of charge as well for their Building Bridges program. We work with the historians. We're working on the 250th anniversary. I met with Jen and gave her some ideas of things that artistically that they might be able to do. And so we work with all of these groups, everyone here probably actually at some point or another. We put art at Tilly's Table in a rotating basis. We work with Carmel Rec. We work with, we audit all of the programs with the money that we re-grant out, which was a little over almost $45,000 this year, which funded 23 organizations. And when we say a project, it's not one thing. It could be an exhibition that's up for a month. It could be 10 classes. It could be 17 performances. So when you see the word 23, it's not actually 23 things that happen. It's much larger than
Right.
that and touches more people. And our re-grant funds go throughout all of your communities. So we make sure that every town gets something from the re-grants you give us, and the state gives us $30,800 on top of the $14,000 that we get from the county. So, you know, let me see if I've covered everything here. Give me a sec. Okay, for every dollar that you spend, $9 are indirectly raised through the arts. It also brings people here, not only visitors, but we really look at it that it's for the residents and that the visitors are the gravy, you know, but we really try to direct our programs for our residents. This year in 2025, we have put in a grant elsewhere to do podcasts, and we added preschool classes, We have public art, we have scholarships, which I mentioned. That's pretty much, I think, a lot of what I wanted to
Yes.
say, other than I wish you would all come to something and see what we
Oh,
do live.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is sort of not even virtual, you don't, you know, I see you once in a while, I see you sometimes, but we invite you to come to something, an opening or a closing or a class, and see the impact it has directly on the children and on the adults, and the interaction and the dialogue that it helps to create. And additionally, in my opinion, art depicts history. How would we know 100 years ago it happened if there wasn't a drawing or if there wasn't some music? So, you know, it touches everyone all the time without ever even realizing it. So
Thank you.
We're
And, you know-
pleased to receive public support. We feel all the people here were honored to be part of the outside agencies that receive funding. And, you know, cost of living, of course, is for everyone. The county executive put in a little less than we asked for. We asked for a small increase, a little over 3%. So what he has suggested is the same as last year. And as someone said,
It's level funding.
right,
It's-
level funding
yes.
from prior years. So,
Right.
of course, level expenses don't exist. So
Exactly.
we'll consider.
Well, I support the arts, always have, and I thank you. You come every year and explain what you do, and you do amazing things here in Putnam County. And I love artwork, and art is therapy. So
Yes.
I'm always doing some type of art. And I just want to thank you for everything you do.
Welcome.
Legislator Yonke?
Joyce, thank you again for coming this year, and thank you for your patience tonight.
Sure,
Just one quick question.
sure.
Do you have any special needs programs?
do.
Or do you work with any special
We
needs
do.
agencies?
We work with InterArts. It just opened up in Patterson.
Okay.
And we do have
That's
some
good.
special needs classes. Actually, the Building Bridges is neurodiverse kids that come with the Youth Bureau. And we also have some special needs pottery opportunities.
Great, thank you.
And we're always able to create something. If we have a handful of kids, enough to be able to pay the teacher, frankly, we can do all of that. Special needs is not a problem for us. We have resources, teachers for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Legislator Elner?
Hi, Joyce. I have a perspective that these outside agencies, and you're doing you're doing services, contracted services, which are wonderful. What kind of gives me a little pause is you said that you were re-granting. I'm not comfortable, and I need to know what I would.
Want to understand that?
No, I understand. I would appreciate a list of everybody who you intend to re-grant, and if you could send that to the office,
Well,
it'd
you
be
get a
very
list.
helpful.
You get a list every year with our final report, and I come and discuss that. So we don't decide on that. We could be in a separate panel of independent people to make the decisions. And it's based on an application, a competitive application process. And so we always provide the list. It's also on our website, but I can also provide you with a list of what's state funded. I give you what the county funds, which is a lot less than what the state funds.
Yeah, I would appreciate it if you could do what previously
Yeah,
did. Thank
sure.
you.
But we do provide you with the county funded list with our final report every year. So those agencies, also Arts on the Lake and all of the groups, Brewster Theater Company, Hudson Valley Shakespeare, Depot Theater, they all do a lot with very little too. They all have a lot of volunteers that help them, and it's amazing what they can do. Also, TSCAC, Cultural Arts Council, the library, several of them receive funding. So I'd be happy to, if you want me to send this year's list again to you, I could do that.
Please.
And if you're interested in seeing the total list, I can send you that too, with the state funds too.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
And we also partner with Southeast Museum, so I'm going to come up with her, with Deb, when she comes up. If that's
Okay.
with you all?
She can come up now,
Okay.
Southeast Museum. You could just stay where you are.
Slid that right in, right?
Thank you. Good evening.
I'm Debbie Oswald. I'm the Director of Education and Programming at the Southeast Museum. I've been there a little over a year. I'm a recently retired teacher with the North Salem School District. So I jumped right in and started collaborating with the Brewster School District. And I bring local history presentations grades K through 5 that align with the New York State Social Studies curriculum, and it's been wonderful. With your funding, I've been able to purchase a projector and a screen, and then we collaborated, Joyce and I, on a recent concert celebrating the contributions of African American citizens throughout the history of the Hudson Valley, and that was brilliant and wonderful. It was a night of music and history. I've collaborated with Cassie at Putnam History Museum as a kickoff to Rev 250, an art exhibit on October 18th, and it's honoring the women of the Hudson Valley who participated, contributed, and were here during the American Revolution. I can't wait. It's extremely exciting.
And that was partially funded through
Thank you.
grants, too.
Thank you. So through the generosity of grants as well as county funding, we are partnering with the Southeast Chamber of Commerce. I met with Paula Hernandez this morning, and we're doing the History of Business in Brewster, and that's going to be on March 19th, 2025. And I discovered a love of recording oral histories of people who were lifetime residents, who are lifetime residents of Putnam County. I say were because I very fortunately got to interview and take the oral history of a Joe Cicolanti, who I think just passed away at the age of 98. So I have his story, his business, politics, I have it, yeah. So with the projector and the screen, I want to create, basically for the entire year of 2025, a real oral history program for Putnam County. I've got about 12 under my belt. I've got the Bruins, the Salingers, I've got the niece of the editor of Marjorie Addis, who is the editor of the Brewster Standard, and that really is like developing into a passion. I'm also very excited to be approached by an art teacher at Brewster High School so that I can, you know, right now I'm K through 5, but I'd like to get into HA12s and the Brewster High School on a barn quilt project that her students are going to do. And she came up with a brilliant idea of painting the businesses on Main Street that are set to demolition, such as Bob's Diner and the former Cameo Theater and the Eagle Eye. So I'm very excited about that. I narrated the Brewster bus tour for the new faculty at the Brewster School District, and that was an absolute blast. And as a result of that, one of the English language learning teachers wanted to collaborate with me. We're going to do something comparing and contrasting the experiences of the immigrant workers of the Tilly Forster mine in the 20th century with the experiences of Latino students today in the village. I also interviewed several Latina women business owners, and that will be a section of the exhibit that we're going to do in March. We collaborate with Gina and the Brewster Library. I facilitate the monthly history exchanges at the library for discussions such as Sybil Luddington, the Stone Chambers of Putnam, the Railroad, the Tea Houses of Brewster, and the Brewster Standard have been discussed, and the Brewster History Book Club. I'm seeing if I miss anything. I know that we're all pressed for time. It's just going to be an exciting year, and I'm very grateful.
It sounds exciting.
Yeah, it does.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for explaining everything you do. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Anybody have any comments or questions? Anybody from the audience? Okay. Well, thank you for coming. Oh, I'm sorry. Legislative Sage.
You were granted the funding that you requested,
Mhm.
so I'm so excited to hear about the program that you're doing, and I'm glad that you are fully funded.
I am too. Thank you very much.
Not other agencies are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. Okay, so we have any other outside agencies here this evening? Oh, hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm Cassie Ward. I'm the Executive Director of the Putnam History Museum. Thank you for your years of support of the museum. Your funding helps to support 2 full-time staff members and 5 part-time staff members. as well as our facility, the needs of our facility, which is an 1828 headquarters building. In recent years, we've had a lot of great success implementing countywide collaborations, as well as our popular countywide history hike series. We've collaborated with the Cornell Cooperative Extension on those, as well as our countywide history crawl series that we developed in COVID, which really takes the history pamphlets that we develop right in the museum and then takes residents and visitors all throughout the county. We've already developed an American Revolution in Putnam County History Crawl, which is available on our website, or I can send everybody that actual booklet. Additionally, in recent years, we've created several county-wide related exhibitions. We right now have on display our award-winning Indigenous Peoples in Putnam County exhibition. That will be paired with a Native American Heritage Weekend, the first weekend of November, which with 3 days of public programming. In under 2 weeks, which Debbie mentioned, we are opening Revolutionary Visions, Women in the Hudson Highlands in Putnam County in the American Revolution. That exhibition is really exciting. Through re-grants from the Putnam Arts Council, we were able to commission 5 artists to create new works related to women in the Revolution. And so it really breathes new life into these stories. I'd also like to give a special thank you to County Historian Jennifer Cassidy.
Yes.
She's tremendously helpful. She's a great champion and cheerleader of local history, and she's constantly, we're either collaborating with her or she's connecting all of our smaller nonprofits. So she's really incredible. And I, of course, want to thank the legislature again as well. As your oldest nonprofit organization, we are extremely grateful for these many years of funding. It's really given us the foundation to do so many incredible things and expand our operation. And I know in years past, we were often kind of centered on Phillipstown, and we've really worked hard, particularly these past 5 years that I've been there, to kind of take our show on the road and help expand the message across the whole country.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a reason that you were asking for the increase?
Just increase in utilities, basically.
Utilities,
Because, yeah.
okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you for all you do. Very nice. Thank you. Okay.
Before we close that, can
Oh, I was just calling them up, the people that came. Or did you want to say something about?
Just because they've been funded and you did question the increase requested.
Right, mhm.
Would someone from the committee please make a motion to give them the requested?
Yeah, well, I think we're going to do that another time. We're going to do them all together. Because there's other people that aren't here this evening also.
No, but others, those
Mhm.
other things are in sub-contingency. This has been funded and
So
the
it
requested
stays.
amount is
Huh?
there.
No, but it's not the full amount they didn't get.
Right, that's why I'm asking you to make a motion to give them the full amount. That's what
I understand what you're
we're
saying.
doing in this meeting.
Mm-hmm, but we can wait for another time.
Well,
Okay, yeah.
that's what this meeting's
No,
for.
page 226.
Sorry.
Where are you up to?
That was on page 226.
Right.
Okay, the Putnam History Museum.
What's next?
Okay, so now we're going to go, we're done with that. So we're going to go to the audit, page 22.
Bless you.
Bless you. So we have audit on page 22. Do we have any questions?
No.
No? Any comments, questions? Anybody from the audience? No. Okay, move on to the county clerk, page 29 and 30. Would you like to come up? Michael Bartolotti, Jimmy McConnell. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
How are you?
Good, how you doing?
How are you?
Yeah, sure.
A lot of tough job clerking.
So, in the interest of time, obviously, if you folks have any questions, we'd
Yeah.
be willing to answer them. I'll just basically, across all three of the departments, DMV, Records Management, County Clerk, expenditures stayed relatively flat. What I do want to bring to your attention is we have, with respect to revenues. So revenues are good news, bad news. So the bad news with revenues is the major driver of our revenues in the county clerk's office are real estate, are land records, land recordings. So when you have not a whole lot of inventory out there, not a whole lot of real estate transactions happening, when you have high interest rates, you're not seeing a lot of refinances. So we get paid basically under CPLR, we get paid by the page. So mortgages are big documents, consolidation agreements, when you refinance and you consolidate your loans together, those are big documents. And when there's a robust real estate market, especially a refinance market, that's where our revenues come from. So we haven't had that these past couple of years since the hot market during and post-COVID was really going. So when you look at it, for our 24 revenues, we had estimated 900,000 in clerk's revenues. We're probably estimating right now, we're probably gonna land at about 800 this year after we get all of our revenues in and we take in our internet, our search revenue that we get for our online search fees. So it's not horrible, but it's not great, and because of that, we felt the responsible thing to do would be to dial down our 2025 revenues, so that's why you see that decrease.
Okay.
On the other side of town, when you go to DMV, we have good news. The good news is,
That's page 31,
we fought
32.
we fought so very hard for many years to get an equitable model with state DMV with respect to online transactions, mail-in transactions, and in-office transactions. It was complete ridiculousness that we had to fight our big brother, basically. We always say we're the redheaded stepchild, being county-run DMVs as opposed to state. So we always had to do battle with our big brother, with our parent, to say, oh, come to us because we get more revenue. You don't want to lose the revenue to the state. So finally, we had a commissioner, and Commissioner Mark Schroeder, who I think is a fantastic commissioner, who actually listened to us and said, listen, you guys do what we do. And your revenue retention is what keeps your lights on. So let's make this equitable. So for the first time, starting in 2024, we get 10 3/4% across the board. So we get less than we got in the office, but we get a whole lot more for online. So the good news with that is, this year, we budgeted 1.25 million, and we're almost at that threshold right now through September.
Nice.
So we're gonna exceed those revenues. So what did we budget for next year?
1.4.
So we budgeted 1.4 for next year, as a conservative estimate. And, we're hopefully that we're gonna have those robust revenues come in again. Things are getting busier, which is good on the DMV side. We're coming into Real ID deadline again, which is coming up in May of 2025. So we're gonna get tons of folks coming into the office to upgrade their driver's licenses and things of that nature. We're also coming into our normal license renewal cycle, which always sees an uptick in revenue because folks wanna, because no matter how they do it, if they do it online, or if they do it by mail, or if they come into the office because they want to get a new picture, or they want to change their address or whatever, we're getting that 10 3/4. So it's equitable, we're true partners, and it really helps out in that respect with that. So those are the two big things that I wanted to discuss with you and just get it out on the table before we get into any other discussions.
Okay.
But having said that, if you have any particular questions, we'll do our best.
Okay, so we have pages 29, 30. Any questions or comments? Anybody in the audience? No?
One question.
Question, yes.
Any revenue generated from passports?
Oh, absolutely. So what we do, right, and that's the whole thing, I appreciate that question because Again, the land records are always our big revenue driver. It usually dwarfs the other things that we do. But yes, we do have robust revenues from passports. We're very aggressive in shopping our passports. We do a couple of passport Saturdays a year where we have we're here, we have folks come in on Saturday, it's more convenient. We're very busy with passport traffic. So what we get for that is, if we do, for every passport application we do, we get a $35 execution fee. So that's the cut that we get for putting in the work to process the application and get it ready. We also offer photo services. We make a good deal of revenue on photos when you talk about the cost of to actually take the photo versus what we charge. We charge $10 a set, which is probably the cheapest show in town, but we still get good revenues from it. So yes, we do make good revenues on passports, aside from the fact that it's a vital service that we provide to the community.
Thank you.
All of those fees are in the clerk's fee line that you see there.
Great job.
Great, thank you. Okay, records management is page 42 and 43.
Pretty level.
Pretty level, straightforward, right? So, anyone have any questions? No? Anyone? Any other legislators?
Straightforward.
Anyone in the audience? Okay. No, I think you're released.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night. Stop clerking. Go start clerking.
Okay,
Going back to the beginning.
not yet.
Where are you going?
Okay, so now we're Law Department, page 33, 34. Losing my voice. 33, 34. Excuse me?
It is election season, and we're not an election season, still here, just saying.
No, they're coming up. We're,
Sorry.
You're up, John.
did you fall asleep?
Wrong John.
I heard Board of Elections.
No, that was Nancy.
We've been working day and night.
I was going to say, I haven't switched departments. Good evening again, everyone.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
Good.
Everyone's hanging in there.
So we're on page 33 and 34 for the Law Department. I have a question on the opioid settlement monies.
Question on the opioid settlement. Yes, the reference down at the bottom. My understanding is that is a portion of a large settlement that was received by Putnam County, many other counties, but that specific amount was received by the Department of Social Services, and they can then use that as they see fit. And one of the things that they had contemplated was possibly using that as a contribution to an attorney that would be under the law department that would be doing the work for social services. Because right now, social services is down one attorney. They have one full-time attorney, but they're missing one attorney. So that would help defray the cost of an attorney's salary.
Okay, so an attorney from your department.
Well, would be under the heading of our department, but it's a vacant position, as
Okay. Any questions on
Think this is-
Legislator Montgomery?
I thought the attorneys for social services were moved under the authority of the law department last year anyway.
They are, but again, there's still one vacant position.
But that was historically funded in the budget in other places, but now we want to use the opioid settlement money to fund it.
I think it's just, I think it's an opportunity because the person who left DSS was a fairly high-ranking attorney, who'd been there for many years. So having to fill that position would require an increased salary. It's not an entry-level position. So this would help address the salary requirement for this year. It wouldn't be a continuing thing, so that would have to come from our budget in the future.
I just have to be honest, I want to see that opioid settlement money for services for people who need it, and I get it, there's always a legal part of it, but, you know, we can fund the law department. Historically, we've not funded or increased funding for any mental health services, and now we finally have a chance to, so just being honest with you, that's my feeling about it.
Sure.
Anyone else? Legislative Sage.
Is this, regarding the opioid settlement monies and this attorney, is this somebody that will be working full-time for the social
DSS,
services?
yes.
They would devote all their time to social services?
Correct. Right now, we have one attorney under the heading of the law department who is devoting all her time to social services. She's there all day, every day. But again, the vacant position would be a full-time DSS.
So they work in social service, or they work physically in the law department? I mean, how does that?
She's Deanna DiCaprio. She's physically at DSS. She's in court every day. She has contact with us. Keeps us advised of what she's doing. She's really a full-time.
Yeah.
So the Commissioner of Social Services is no longer the boss, the law department is now. That's the change.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Legislator Elder, you said
Thank you. Yeah. John, can you please explain the 50,000 increase in legal services?
The 50,000, yes, that's a good question, and I wanted to address that. The board will recall that when I was last here on October 12th, we had asked for $150,000 fund transfer. And the reason we had asked for that was largely because of the increased amount that we required for outside counsel. The amounts that I had listed at that time were accurate. I have more updated figures to provide. But what I wanted to explain, if I didn't adequately explain it that night, was that in addition to the Harris Beach firm, who is largely handling the Bargain litigation, which is really an unprecedented litigation. It's a very technically expert firm in that field of construction litigation. They have been paid $214,000 in 2023 and $153,000 in 2024 to date, with a large outstanding balance, and that has been the single most cause of the increase in our budget for outside counsel. In addition to that, as I had mentioned, there is several firms that the county is using, that has used very successfully in the past for contractual and employee disciplinary personnel matters. The question had been asked, is that something that, excuse me, the law department can handle internally? And I did address it at the time, but I just wanted to kind of present a couple of other points that might help better understand it. All employee disciplinary matters are referred to the law department by the personnel director. And that is done after attempts have been made to try to address the matters internally. So if that can't be done, personnel will then refer them to us for review and consideration. In many cases, because those personnel matters will involve county employees, it would not, well, first, personnel directs us to send them to outside counsel. It's not even that we have the ability to handle it internally. In addition to that, the separate and equally important consideration is that in many cases these involve county employees where the law department to get involved in the investigation and subsequent prosecution of those cases, it would involve very clear conflicts of interest. So to avoid those kind of problems and also because they're experts in the field, we use two firms primarily, and they do excellent work. But those are the two primary reasons why the amount isn't increased for outside counsel.
Follow
Go
up.
ahead.
And do you think that that may be a little more manageable when you get to full staff?
We're hoping that when we're fully staffed, again, we haven't been during my tenure, but we're hoping that when that happens, that we can, yes, use staff attorneys, keep that down.
Okay, because they're still down two.
We're still down 2 attorneys.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Legislator Yaki.
I have a question. Every other department head showed up here for the budget hearings, and I'm just wondering, where's the county attorney?
My understanding is the county attorney had a medical issue. I think you made the board aware of it at some point today in advance.
Legislator Montgomery.
I just want to point out, like, I know this issue of legal services and the increases come up in other conversations, and this is an increase of $50,000, but this is something we've seen in previous budgets. For example, from 21 to 22, we saw a $68,000 increase in the law department for legal services. We can go back and, look at each year, but it seems that's a common thing. And I just have to point that out because it's come up, in several conversations we've had as a legislature.
If I may.
Yes.
Do we have any idea of when the Arbin case may finally end?
Well, they're well into discovery at this point, so they're certainly making progress of moving towards past the halfway point. I know the case is before Supreme Court Judge Grossman, who's very aggressive in moving cases along. He's a top-notch Supreme Court judge. He's very good at managing his cases, doesn't waste any time, and at some point, I'm sure settlement will be encouraged down the line, but we're not really at that point yet.
So we got at least another 6 months.
I would say that would be reasonable.
Thank you again.
Okay. Anyone else? Questions from the public? No? Okay.
Just one thing I wanted to
Okay.
point out in case a question is raised, because it may be, there's a line item, 54313, books and supplements, for $21,600. That refers to the legal research services we use. We have a contract with Westlaw, and we get a discounted rate, but still, that's what that refers to, not actual books.
Okay. Thank you.
No.
Judgment and claims. So next is judgment and claims.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you. Judgment and claims.
Still you,
Can't
John.
leave yet.
Next page.
Sorry. Page 53.
I barely got up. Judgments and claims. Yes.
So we see there's 2 settlements. Is that on the top?
Yes.
Okay.
So, the judgment and claims of $250,000, that was predicted based on what the deductible is in settlements, where NYMER is of course, as you know, the carrier, and if they successfully resolve a case on the county's behalf, the county's responsible for a $250,000 deductible currently. On some of the others that date back some time ago, that may have been less.
Okay. And, okay, any questions on that page for anyone? Legislator Castellano.
You asked for 350,000 and not 250. Why is there a discrepancy of 100,000?
Let's see.
First line on the judgment and claims.
There was a clarification from risk from Matt Bruno on that to go to the 250.
Okay. That's correct.
Sorry, Tom.
No, it's okay. That's the right answer.
Raise your hand.
I did. Thanks, Joe. You just didn't see me.
Okay, any comments from anyone? Questions, comments? Thank you.
Okay.
Now you can leave.
All right, have a good evening.
Okay, we have page 36, back to 36, which is,
35, 36.
well, it's not, it's 36 on the bottom, is the only- it says 35, but that is ethics. Does anybody, Angela? That's, we
Nice
have,
to see it.
it's on the very bottom of 36. There's nothing on 35.
Right, so ethics is part of the personnel department, so there's 4% of the salary, I think, that just goes into ethics. Yeah, with the fringes.
Is that the 5,100?
Yeah, so
Thank you,
that's
Sharon.
Yes.
4% of that individual's salary, plus the associated fringes.
Okay. Any questions on that? Anyone? No? Anyone from the public? No. Okay. Good. Board of Elections. Yay. Sorry it took so long. That's page 40.
I would have ran up here 2 hours ago, but I can't.
So, okay, so page 40, I was just looking at the computer equipment, 84,475. Is that the e-poll books?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Which will be getting a grant to.
Good.
Yes.
Very good. Okay. And then the other item was the contracts. Are those the machines, software, or
The
the
lease,
129?
the lease is for the machines, those are all our other contracts for software.
Okay.
10X for moving companies.
Because that went up to 129, 288. I'm looking at that. Line 54646.
And that,
48,000.
It's toward the bottom.
yeah, right here. That's 10X, Clancy, NTS.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of transportation costs for moving.
Moving is not
Mhm.
cheap.
Say that again.
Any questions from the committee?
I have a question. Just on office equipment, $2,500. First time.
It's in
Oh.
for any chairs or tables and stuff like that that we would need for elections.
Oh, for the elections?
Yes. Mhm.
And the furniture is only $750 with just that chairs? What-
That.
Yeah.
Is that?
Don't really.
You know,
Yeah, as you can see, we don't really use.
oh, okay.
You don't use furniture.
I didn't know if it was,
We running around the office, nobody's sitting right now either.
No chairs needed. Legislator.
5263 computer equipment, 84,475.
Yeah, that's the poll pass.
That's the poll pass.
We have to, 2019, we got originally the poll pass to start doing check-ins via touchpads. They're Apple, they don't last, so
Can't keep them on charge.
unfortunately, yeah,
They're by grant.
yeah.
Oh, okay, that's okay.
and through the chair, the
Yes.
contact line?
What number is that?
546.
Oh, we just spoke about
Oh, we
that.
just spoke
Yep,
about
that was that. Okay. Anyone else? Any other questions?
Getting late.
I know. Anyone from the
Thank
audience, questions? No. Okay, and page 41. Anything on that page? No.
Those are all fringes.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you for waiting one night.
waiting.
Thank you so much. Okay, page
52.
Page 52 is just, that is the Association of Counties, those are the dues. That's good. Moving on to CAP, page 183.
Pardon me?
I don't think anyone's here, but. Page 183. Okay, that's level funding. So that's. Okay, and
It's
It's level, right? 175?
172, 175, yeah. Yep.
And that's cap, okay, that's all right. Page 184 is Putnam Rec Program. That's a nonprofit, special needs. Yes, I'm sorry. Oh. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike, it was, okay. I'm gonna, okay.
Mike, would you like to speak?
Come on up, Mike. Consumer Affairs, Weights and Measures, but let's just, I was just on page 184 real quick, just finish that. And that is nonprofit special needs for developmental programs for children and adults. No, I brought this up first, and then you mentioned that, and I asked him to come up. So we're finishing page 184, and we're going to move on to Mike Buzinski. Thank you, Mike. I know it's a long night. I'm sorry. Page 189. Okay. Any questions?
No.
No.
Other
See, but it all
income
this time.
money to offset the budget, so that's
Yeah.
a good thing.
Mm-hmm. And,
I just want to say, this is bare bones, we held the line. I do want to say that the last 3 years, we generated over $1 million in revenue, and we're one of the few departments that actually make money.
Thank you.
and you had to wait till the last one to speak.
Waited
I
4
just
hours to, when you deserve the accolades. Yeah, you and the county clerk,
You should have been
okay.
first. The good news.
Next time, we put it
Yes,
first, okay.
yes. Okay, so no questions, no comments. Very good. Comment is thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank
for
you.
waiting.
Thank you so much. Okay, and then we have.
Career.
I don't want to miss anyone. We have career, people with disabilities, page 185. And that is Tina Cornish. They have that little shop down on 52. I always donate things there, past ShopRite.
Yeah, they provide,
Mm-hmm,
they get
Yes.
disabled people jobs,
yes.
which is a good, very
They-
good service.
yeah,
But
they They requested 30, and they were
we got
given 15. So that's something that we could look into.
Look into.
Yes. Okay, and that's it for that page. And then, now we have, we did all that, I know. Well, we did most of these. The
I didn't see,
Constitution, page 227 is Constitutional Island Association. Okay. That was level funding.
They didn't spend.
No, that was
their-
level.
Their allotted amount from last year, so I think what's in the budget this year is fine.
No, they requested 15.5 and,
But look at their
Yeah, they didn't
actuals.
no, I see.
yeah.
Yep, 5,175.
I don't know
Unless
if
they
we
make
did
the
contribution to
argument
arts.
For what they're going to do.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Rob.
Okay, that's 220. Then we have 236, the Humane Society. And that is, she requested and received what she requested. And that's also level, so that's. And then we have Putnam County SPCA. I'm sorry, yes,
Can I make a comment?
sure.
I think it's really unfair that after months and months of preparing this budget, the county executive basically took all the outside agencies, gave them level funding, and then sent them to us. We have not had the ability to vet or review any of the paperwork that was submitted by the outside agencies. We've had this budget for 1 week, and now all these people are fighting over $75,000 that was put in the sub-contingency. That is not the way, that's not doing his job. That's not the way that this process is meant to work. All right, this is not right. It was his job to determine who should get what, not at the last minute, send a letter out telling people to come, if they could come. It's obvious that not everybody could come. And I just think it's unfair to the outside agencies, and it's unfair to us.
Oh, I agree. I would like to have the county executive to explain the reasoning besides, behind that decision to place all these outside agencies in sub-contingency.
I agree, I just don't think it's effective, nor do I think it's efficient, nor do I think it's fair. The onus is on the county executive, that's why he meets with these agencies one-on-one to determine what he will put in the budget. And it's for us to review upon the recommendation of the county executive. Now we're doing the county executive's work.
With no time.
Okay, I'm going to move on to, just go over real quickly, page 237 is the Putnam County SPCA, and they received level funding. They requested more. And 240, page 240 is the Garrison Arts Center.
Zero.
Zeroed, that was zero. This is, I believe this is the first year, right, that they requested, and also basketball, zero. Funding, which is page 241.
That's Shakespeare.
And Hudson Valley Shakespeare Festival, page 242, zero. So,
Through the chair, these are our three
They're
very
new.
esteemed
Mhm.
not-for-profits that offer a great deal of culture to Putnam County. I don't know why it's zero if he met with them. But this budget process is supposed to end at the end of this month. But now, we have to continue because we have to bring everybody back for consideration. I don't understand this leadership at all. I just don't. Because we should be able to finalize our budget, and we're not going to be able to do so unless we just keep the 75,000 in contingency and divide up the pot. But we don't know that the circumstances may bring that would exceed that amount. So either our hands are tied with the 75,000 to start picking, which is not something we should be determining to do after how are we passing the budget? If we don't know. This is bizarre.
Can I ask a question?
yes, yes,
So we
Legislator Montgomery.
can't move money out of sub-contingency tonight, is that correct? I don't think I understand.
We can't.
Is that correct? That's correct? Nobody can answer me.
To move it out for individual? Individual, if we could.
Recommendation, but I wouldn't.
Can't be done to a
For
full.
what reason?
Well, we see what the requests have been, so I believe some of these people have left, obviously, it's 3 hours into it. Gonna present tonight.
Well, we're going to consider, we are going to consider, we're not going to just leave it like this.
Right, we just-
Right, that's what I'm saying, no, we're going
Right,
to,
no, and I understand
yeah,
what you're saying, and
right.
that's what I'm.
No, yeah.
So,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm just
We're trying to determine how we will,
proceed. 'Cause
because we
Yeah,
have
I mean, maybe we gotta
75,000.
Double that.
We only have
Triple it.
$75,000 in sub-contingency.
Right, but
I understand.
75,000 adds up to what each of these
No, you know what the
requests
requests were? 150.
No.
Yeah,
Not even
Shakespeare
close.
was
It's not even
85,000.
Yeah,
are. Okay, but we see what, I'm sorry, you put in the tentative budget, okay.
yeah. So we have more work to do
So-
here on this.
Well, through
Did-
the chair.
Yes.
Did basketball and the Garrison Arts Center and Shakespeare put in for anything? Because the page is zero.
Yeah, they put in.
They put in for.
Oh, it's 40.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, they put in.
And I worked through some of the
Mhm.
worksheets with
Garrison?
some of these organizations.
Mhm.
and
Okay.
I have access.
Well, I'm looking at the wrong page.
Oh,
It's getting
well,
late, I'm just
page-
getting punchy.
Provide that to you if you'd like, or.
Please.
Yeah, well, page,
We were not provided with those
Yeah.
worksheets.
I know,
We've had
I
one
wasn't
week.
either, I wasn't provided with all of them either.
Right, so I don't think we should be cherry picking,
No.
just
I
to be
worked
fair.
with, I worked with the organizations in my district, I didn't work with the
That's
county
fine, yeah.
executive, I work with the people I represent.
so they requested Garrison Arts Center at $9,800, and they were given zero.
But
So,
again, we're not just
I
going to
know.
carte blanche, just give
Well, that's what I'm
everybody what
saying.
they ask for either. That's
Mhm.
not the right way to do it. The right way
I'm not
is
saying.
to understand what the consideration
Mm-hmm.
is and then make a decision. So,
that's
I
what we're
mean,
going to
we're
do.
not gonna add it all up and say, okay, here you go. That would be foolhardy to do it that way too. So, we're gonna bring people back in 2025 and put an estimated amount in contingency? What kind of management is that?
No, I think that those agencies should come in to us in 2025, demonstrate to us what the need is, and then we can discuss 2026 with them.
I agree, but
I don't
the onus is on the administration to
But it's not
clear this
fair-
better.
It's not fair to those outside agencies.
It's not fair to the ones that
handle
came
this
this
way.
evening, too.
It's not fair to us
They already
either.
spoke to us this evening.
Well,
Do you know?
Possible?
No, I'm talking about the people that came this evening, already spoke to us.
and
Can't-
some were here and left. 'cause
And we can't ask them to come back because we already know. But
This is not the process.
I understand.
This is not the correct process.
So, I don't, hopefully we're not gonna punish the
No.
outside agencies.
Oh, no, quite the
Can I
opposite.
finish?
not at all.
Hopefully we're not gonna punish the outside agencies by just disregarding sub-contingency.
No.
Hopefully, so is the plan to invite them back in 2025?
I would
Or
imagine
sooner.
we-
I
well,
mean-
Or sooner, maybe.
And, you know, that's a good opportunity for them to have more time to present.
Yes.
These are wonderful
I know.
organizations. You really want to hear about
I do.
what they're doing. And, you know, it's,
I'd love PowerPoints, anything they can
But
do.
we couldn't have them all in one night.
No.
It's too, yeah.
The budget process is for.
That's
Well, that's-
exactly right.
But we need to invite them.
but this is
Commissioner
what,
Lewis can forward you.
I was gonna say, Sheila and I work with our,
Right.
or the decentralized, budget
Mm.
review. We have all their 990s, their
We do.
mission statements, we have all that documentation. We
and
will
also-
forward that to you.
if
But
I
that's
may-
not the process that we should be following. This is a bad precedent that's being set. We shouldn't be doing all this after the fact. So we're supposed to pass our budget this month, but we're giving it consideration in 2025. So we're either guessing what we should put in sub-contingency, and now the onus is on the legislature to review the paperwork when the county executive and whomever else sat with these people for that very review and for that very process to unfold.
Listen,
So, Yankee.
I was sent a letter from an outside agency. It was, the county executive wrote to this outside agency and said, thank you for participating in the budget process. We left your funding the same as you got last year, but this is the beginning of the process, all right? It's not the beginning of the process. We're at the end of the process. This process began whenever he started collecting the information.
August.
Or maybe before. Okay, I don't know when you guys started, but this is the end of the process, not the beginning of the process. You don't email people on the day of the rules budget meeting, telling them, by the way, there's a meeting tonight. Maybe you ought to go to it. That's nonsense. That is not the way this process needs to work. And it's not fair to all the people who depend on these agencies. It's not fair to the people who run these agencies. And it's not fair to us to have these people coming in disappointed that they were not considered. I don't think they were considered. When you just blanket, you bring these people in, you interview them, and at the end of the day, you say, well, we're just gonna keep level funding. That's not fair. That means you gave them no mind, and that's terrible.
Well, I can attest to that. We did not do it that way. When they did come in, and Commissioner Lewis was there with us, some of these agencies came in, have millions of dollars in the bank and from fundraising and everything. So, those were maybe left flat or zero. Some had none, some were new and we gave money to. Should the process be better? Let's work together and make it better for the next time. We're in it now.
So we've got to fix now. We have to fix what's happening now.
Yeah.
with all
Legislator
due-
Malcolm.
With all due respect, just because an organization has money in the bank and has great fundraising abilities, it doesn't mean the county shouldn't fund them. We all need to contribute.
And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, it doesn't mean that they're gonna get their full ask if they're financially stable and way ahead with all kinds of, we had one that had money in the Caymans. So,
At least they told you.
yeah.
I mean, what happens if the director of one of these outside agencies is making $1 million a year?
That's not how it works. So you're gonna deny, how about Wounded Warrior? Let's take a look at that. look at that.
I think we should look at every agency. I completely
But
agree.
because their executive director makes $1 million a year, they shouldn't get funding?
Well,
Just, you don't know what they do.
Well, we're not saying, we're
if I
not
may-
saying that.
All right, let's-
if I may,
Okay,
through-
let's stay on point,
through-
because
Okay.
Through the
So I'm
chair,
just saying, there's different circumstances.
Yeah, okay,
We even had one that wanted money for a new.
I just want to find
They
this
didn't even own the
8750. I can't even find it. It's not on page 247. At least not on mine.
Because I'll tell you why.
Okay.
But first, we have to go, okay. So we're just going to finish up. We have page 243, which is the Phillipstown Behavioral Hub.
I can give you the executive
Oh,
summary.
no, it doesn't, no, I'm just saying.
I mean,
They're-
they've been before the legislature, you know what they do, I can explain what they are doing, what they've
Mhm.
requested the money for. So they
But we're
have to expand because of the number of people they have to
They're
serve.
servicing.
Okay, but they requested 30 and they got 15.
Because there's no services over on that side of the
Mhm,
county.
okay.
So, and in addition to that, the work I do with my money that I earn outside.
I don't care what you do with
We
your
all do
money.
work with the money
None of
that
your
we earn.
business what I do with
Yeah.
my
Working
money.
with
We all do.
health
I don't care what
getting
you do.
Okay, we're getting off point now.
Project.
Okay.
It's not my pet project.
Conflict of interest.
Guys, through the chair, please.
Okay, you didn't even hear what I'm doing.
We don't care.
Okay, let's
Come
move on. Okay, yeah, there's nothing to argue about here.
Why don't you just tell all the residents of Putnam County to go to hell, because that's what you're doing.
That's not
Really?
what we're
Come
doing.
on.
That's not what we're doing.
I do a lot for my constituents.
That's not, this
So I don't
is
think you should be
about,
pointing fingers at anybody, because three are pointing back at you.
it's about doing
Okay, let's,
diligence.
let me go on to the last page then, which is Cornell Cooperative Extension. That's page 247, and that, no, because it's the agricultural program.
Includes your pet project, did you work on that?
Yes,
Yeah,
I did, so,
we just funded it. I
so.
don't have a pet project.
It's not a pet project. I worked with her to feed the people in Putnam County. It wasn't a pet project. Okay, this,
247.
yeah, page 247, Tilly Foster, and they got 10,000 more than last year, if you look. Last year, it was 353, 239, and they got 363, 728, so.
So Stephanie thank you, Chairman.
Mhm.
Stephanie did reach out to me today. I did ask, she had Dr. Swetman, I did ask her
Mhm.
to send an email to the entire legislature.
Okay.
Explaining that, why she couldn't be here.
That's fine.
and If we need her to come
Yeah.
back.
No, we saw, that's fine.
Just so,
Mhm.
if people didn't see it.
Okay, so I think we're done.
No, we have to do 1 and 2 and 13 and 14.
Oh, geez, okay. Legislature, page 1 and 2. Okay. 1 and 2. Do we have any questions, comments on those pages? No?
So, can I?
Sure.
Yeah, I do.
Can I ask?
Yes.
About legal services
Page 13.
and exactly what that's for?
Yes, we can ask. Do we know?
Yeah.
We have no money in our legal services
Mhm.
line this year, so we put 50,000
Mhm.
in case of the need for outside counsel.
Outside counsel for what?
It's just a safeguard. If you don't use it, it goes back to general
I don't have a
fund.
crystal ball, but I can tell you
But-
that the county attorney office, they came in, nobody even questioned the 50,000 increase that they got. I put 50,000 in for here. and-
We're not of the law department. So we did get an email, I think, stating that you retained outside counsel already?
Yes.
And how is that vetted?
What do you mean vetted?
You just chose the outside counsel on your
It was
own?
assigned by the law department.
Okay, I thought
No.
you were getting that outside counsel on your own.
What you're referring to is the attorney that was referred by the law department.
Okay. So that's not what this is for?
It may be. Whatever legal matters we need to deal with next year, if any at all, that's what I put in for it.
So the legal services we're asking for, because I think we are having a conflict with the law department, having the law department assign our outside counsel. They assigned us the outside counsel?
Yeah, they assigned us Romer Wallens.
Is this, through the chair, is this for Keenan Bean or is this for the other outside counsel? I'm confused. This 50,000, is this for Keenan Bean
It
or
could
the
be for
other
anybody.
one?
It's just a budget line. Just budgeted.
Well, $2,000 to $50,000 is a very large jump.
We didn't spend any money last year.
No, I know, that's what was budgeted,
Mhm.
and I'm just saying it's a big jump.
Yep.
It's also put in the intended budget.
Just thought we could put it in
So-
subcontingency.
That's
and-
funny. We don't have this kind of discussion when other departments add $150,000, $50,000.
Because I trust other departments, there's a lack.
Do you?
There's a big lack of trust
Right.
here.
You started off the other day talking about civility, and
Yeah,
I've watched 2 days
camaraderie.
of your version of civility.
Yeah. It's remarkable.
Okay, I'm look.
Okay, page,
So
oh.
I'm hoping that somebody on the committee could make a motion to remove that $50,000.
Make a motion to increase it to $150,000.
Second. Okay, moving on to channel, I was going to say Channel 13. Page 13 and 14.
Make a joke of governing, don't you?
County Executive, Department for County Executive.
Thank you. The only lines outside of the personal services that either increased or decreased, basically, we're printing and forms went up, we're sending more stuff out, our postage went up a little bit, and licensing software, we bought a streaming camera. That was actually budgeted in 2024. We're just getting to buying it now, or going to try to encumber it to get it by the end of the year. Everything else was either flat or the same.
Pretty darn close. Yeah,
Any
you're-
questions? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a $4,000
Jim, what are you
difference.
sending out? What are you sending out that warranted?
Whatever,
Like what?
Flyers, whatever, I don't know what they do with the forms and stuff that they send out to the constituents or whatever. It's just mailings and stuff. I can get you
Mailings.
specifics if you wanted.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to know what that is,
Sure,
since
absolutely.
that traditionally, the county executive doesn't send out mailings, but
Yeah.
I also have a question to the
Responding
chair.
you know, answering letters.
Just to be clear, because we had so much confusion about, what is the $11,000 for leasing rental?
Oh, that is actually the car. They rounded it to $11,000. That's the car that's the county exec's, for the office that we've had for the last 2 years.
So this is part of the existing lease expenses that it's
Absolutely,
incurring?
yes. We only
Okay,
have the one, yep.
it's confusing. John? John?
Hey,
You're still here?
We're gonna be serving breakfast soon.
Yeah, I think he was.
We made it before 11.
what's on me?
I have no
We
further
good?
questions.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
We're good?
We're good.
Thank you.
If there's no other business, I make a motion to adjourn. Do I have? Meeting adjourned.